So the Philadelphia Eagles have a problem, one that's not their fault, but they need to find a solution as quick as possible. Also, one Eagles premier weapon injured yet again. The team just made a roster move, but what is the long-term outlook? And this quote from an Eagles rookie will send chills down your spine. We'll talk about all of that and more, but welcome on into A to Z Philly. I am RB. Do me a favor, like the show, go down below, hit that red subscribe button. Really do appreciate everybody who has been supporting us this season. And before we jump into it, I want to start off with a quote from the great, yes, I'm saying the great Eagles defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, on having success with the Philadelphia Eagles. Quote, yeah, I mean, I think you know I grew up a big Philadelphia sports fan, so that was a big part of my motivation to come back here. And we tried to do it a couple of other times throughout the years, but it never timed out right. Yes, it brings back a little satisfaction. And imagine him coming back here to his hometown, his home sports town, and winning a championship for the best fans in the world. That would be incredible. Another guy who came back this season, CJ Gardner-Johnson, was actually voted the most annoying player in the NFL in an informal poll amongst the players. Brandon Graham finished fourth. So look, as Jeff McClain says, maybe that's a compliment. Shout out to CJ Gardner-Johnson. Imagine him coming back, and imagine him playing the Lions, who he played with last season. That would be a crazy environment. But you know what's most annoying to me? It is the fact that one Eagles young superstar is not getting treated fairly. And his name is Jalen Carter. He only has 4.5 sacks, but he has been on an absolute tear over the last 5 to 6 weeks. Now, there's so many MVPs you can point to. We could even talk about, say, Cooper DeJean, right? Coming into the week 5 or week 6, actually, game number 5 after the bye week, Cooper DeJean completely revolutionized this defense. I mean, he's just everywhere. He always makes the right play. You can look at Zach Bond, who came over after being a special teams player, and the impact he's had on his defense. But I don't know if we can argue that anybody's had more impact than Jalen Carter in these last several games. The guy is getting double teamed. The guy is getting held. The guy still cannot be stopped. And right now, he is on the top of the ladder for Defensive Player of the Year. Jalen Carter, ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, is only a second-year player. What is this guy, 23, 24? Jalen Carter has the potential to be one of the greats. I mean, he's already showing flashes of it. They tried to say that he was a problem maker and that, you know, his attitude was bad, his work ethic sucked. But last year, if you remember, everybody was saying this is the best player in the draft and how he found a way to get up and get him. And the fact that he fell from number 1 is asinine. I mean, I know he had off the field stuff and everybody was trying to paint that on him. But whatever happened, Jalen Carter is an absolute mammoth. Like, the Eagles found their new D tackle for the next, hopefully, decade and more. The one thing I've been most impressed with is that he is playing almost all of the defensive snaps. Like, look at the jump from last year to this year, right? There were times where he was tucked and his conditioning wasn't as good. That was something that Vic Fangio really stressed back in training camp, guys like Jordan Davis, etc. Jalen Carter has played 83.1% of the defensive snaps, which is number 2 amongst defensive linemen. This guy really put in the work this offseason to get his body in the right shape, and he's out there almost every single play. I think he had like the longest streak of the season until last week when it was the fourth quarter and the game was over, but his conditioning has been amazing. And on top of playing all those snaps, he is being double teamed on 68% of those snaps, which is tied for most amongst D tackles. Unbelievable. I mean, Jalen Carter is literally being double teamed. All the attention is going to Jalen Carter. You look at this team who doesn't have an elite pass rusher per se, but Jalen Carter is being double teamed on every play because of that. And he's still finding ways to get to the quarterback. I said it on the postgame show. There were several times where he was this close from bringing down Lamar Jackson. Like, he was so close, and it's through everything that he had to battle. And the main thing is this, and I've heard a lot of different people talk about it this week, but nobody has a solution. The Eagles have to find a solution, whether that is sending a memo to the NFL, whether that's like just being in the ref's ear for the entire, pregame first quarter. I don't know what it is. All right. I really don't. But this right here shows 7 to 8 instances where Jalen Carter is being held. I said on the post-game show, there was like 10 to 12 in my mind fresh after watching that game on Sunday, where I could clearly picture Jalen Carter being held. He almost got the Lamar Jackson 3 to 4 times. He almost brought him down. Jalen Carter is so good that they have to hold him on every play. And the refs are treating him unfairly. Is it because he's a newbie? Because he's a young guy in his second year? I mean, if this was 5th or 6th year Jalen Carter, would he get these calls? If he was Aaron Donald or Fletcher Cox or whoever else, would he get these calls? Because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Talent-wise, he's already on that level. And this unfair treatment has to stop. Because right now, Jalen Carter, even being double-teamed every play, could have 8 to 9 sacks, maybe even more. Vic Fangio was asked about Jalen Carter and the holding issue. And he was asked if the Eagles can do anything to stop him from getting held. And he said, quote, "Do you have any ideas?" So shout out to Vic Fangio, getting a little light with it, joking around. But he says there was one play where Carter was actually thrown to the ground and it wasn't called. That's absolutely ridiculous. I'm cool with it now because the team is playing good. The defense is top tier. They're elite. But in a big time game, what if they don't call that? And it really ends up costing the Philadelphia Eagles. We saw in the Super Bowl, for example, they were predicated on the pass rush and the field was absolutely terrible. And there was nothing they could do. And it screwed them in the biggest game of them all. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but the Eagles maybe have to start chirping more. They need to get this on the radar because this is absolutely inexcusable. He is so damn good, and they need to see it for what it is. So hopefully the Eagles can get them to kind of change their attitude, I guess, towards Philadelphia. But we know it, right? They don't like Philly. Tell you what I don't like. I don't like the fact that the Eagles might miss Dallas Goedert now for the next several weeks. Here's some practice updates. Devontae Smith and Big Play Slay were both practicing, and it's good to see them back. Reed Blankenship and Dallas Goedert were not. Covey also did not practice. He got hurt again. Blankenship was there, though, which is a good sign for Sunday, but my guess is that Devontae Slay play and Blankenship, Goedert, Covey do not. But Dallas Goedert is the big question, right? Dallas Goedert not expected to play against the Panthers, but the Eagles right now are still unsure if they want to place him on IR or not. Jeff McLean had this first, and now a national reporter has echoed the report. So Dallas Goedert might go to IR for the second time this season. I like Dallas Goedert. I think he's been underutilized as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. I know they have a plethora of weapons, but now he's in year 7? Like, we're starting to get to the point here. If he cannot stay healthy consistently, you might have to look at drafting a tight end. Now, Grant Calcaterra has done a tremendous job stepping in for Goedert. It seems like Calcaterra is trusted by Jalen Hurts. Can he do it long-term in the big games? That remains to be seen. Still very young. But I like Dallas Goedert. I hope he gets healthy. We'll see what the Eagles do. I mean, I guess he'd still be able to come back before the playoffs, but, I guess it depends on the severity of the injury. But in the meantime, Eagles go and sign CJ Uzomah to the active roster and sign Paris Campbell to the practice squad. I forgot about Uzomah. They signed him back in the offseason. He is a veteran, so at least he's been around the game. Maybe he can fill in for some snaps, but it feels like he's been bouncing back and forth. So we'll see what they do there, but there has to be some serious questioning about Goedert's longevity with this team. Now, Cooper DeJean is going to have some longevity with this team, and this quote sends chills down my spine. He says, "Anytime I see the video of Howie calling me, I get chills every time. This is where I wanted to be." He's talking about the draft night video where Howie thought that the Rams had drafted Cooper DeJean and he was pissed off. Then they didn't. And then Howie calls him and he just gets fired up. And the fact that they were still able to land him after getting Q is just incredible. And I just love the way that this guy handles himself. I love the way he goes out there on the field, very humble. And he just is always in the right spot. He always makes the right play. Cooper DeJean, ladies and gentlemen, is a future superstar. We're already seeing that. But if Cooper and Quinyon can keep this up, imagine what the Eagles are going to have with a young nucleus moving forward. And speaking of Quinyon, here's the updated list of wide receivers that he has gone up against this season. I mean, the list speaks for itself. Are you kidding me? I mean, Quinyon Mitchell is elite, man. Even the one touchdown he gave up to last week against Cooper Kupp, that was in garbage time. Last 3 games, the Eagles have given up garbage time yards and points, which really don't matter. Defense has been superior. They have been on top of the league. And honestly, I don't see anybody else close right now, which is one main reason why I think they are the best in the league. But what it comes down to is perfectly said here by Jalen Hurts, because they were asking him if this is the best season of his career. And he says, quote, I think that's something that's relative. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We're going to be judged by if we win in the end. I love that mindset. I love the way that everybody on this team is buying in. Screw the stats. Screw the Saquon MVP. Screw all of it. Screw the Rookie of the Year. We are trying to win it all. Eyes on the prize. Keep the main thing the main thing. And I think Jalen's maturity has really gone up. He's always been mature, but now he's blocking out that noise. You know, he doesn't care about it. And the Eagles have to keep their eyes on the prize. They need to be locked in. Feels like that has been the main thing from the coaching staff, which is why we do have to give Nick Sirianni credit. This team is just playing as a unit. They are gelled right now. But those are all my thoughts. Give me yours down below. As always, appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch you on the next one. Also, real quick, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. It is the great BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using our code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlays, live bets, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today. Please gamble responsibly.